Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Skyrim! I'm Kamchak Fisko. Come join me for an epic adventure. Okay. This leads, to a whole layer of marauders. Should probably be using the bow for stealth purposes. Wait, am I using the right arrows? Use the right arrows, thank you. So these actually bad guys or not? I can't tell. Oh, they're bad guys! Sneak attack. Yeah, that won't be a stealth attack. Get off me. Says I'm still seen by somebody. You're sprinting. Are they coming from a different part of the cave? I don't know.
Can't hide from me.
Yep, there you are. Nope, you're gonna lie on the ground and think about your choices. I'm gonna shoot you again, just cuz. Alright, let's go ahead and go back to the sword. Nordic Blade, that's the one I was playing with. Haha! Search the same guy twice, didn't mean to do that. Okay, we should be in the clear, I don't think I need to sneak now. Grab anything that ain't bolted down, man! Can't steal all those cooked potatoes? Aww. I feel chipped. There's nothing up... Oh, hello, cheese. Got some flour. That one's empty, and I think we've searched everything. Okay, so we're good to go in this room. Where the hell's this go? Wooden door. I'm guessing this is the, leader's room. If I had to speculate. Started. Someone with backbone. Okay, obviously the book we picked up has some relevance to that. Investigate Volem's tomb. This must be a side quest based on the thing we just found. Imperial Notice. What is this? I shouldn't need to remind you to be extra vigilant during this time of crisis. Not only do we have a dragon to worry about, but I've heard reports that the bandits seem to be rampaging up their presence on the island as well. It's likely that they're pillaging all that old Nordic barrow. It's only a matter of time before they launch a surprise attack on Fort Moonwatch and gain control of the docks. While resources are currently stretched thin, no thanks to the Stormcloak Rebellion, we are planning on sending a contingent to Worm's Tooth in the next few weeks to reinforce our presence on the island and to respond to the recent dragon sighting. Legate Hamlin. Okay, bandits letter. On behalf of the Bayswater bandits, I am writing to propose a temporary truce with the Blackfist Marauders. Our enemy is common, the Thalmor. Their recent incursion into Worm's Tooth put the strain on both of us. I know for a fact that you've suffered the same casualties we have. I also hear a tale of your recent conquest of Fort Moonwatch. Most impressive, if a little rash. I doubt the Empire would simply turn a blind eye to this. Perhaps we could unite and take the fort Valis. My scouts tell me a coven of witches may currently hold the fort. Its location would make it ideal for us keeping an eye on the southern road. Skagarak the Unyielding. Skagarak, huh? Oh, I never did read the shit from Gareth. Damn it. I was supposed to do that. Guess we'll be reading them now. But first I need to get through the rest of this book crap that I haven't read. Your new library. You know, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you're turning into a right bookworm instead of slaying dragons. As you can see, we cleaned out the old cobwebs and added a few horn lanterns to brighten up the place. And you know, it don't look half bad. Those old Nords had an eye for architecture. At any rate, we got your bookcase here, and they'd be the finest in the land. If a noble came down here, he'd be right jealous of your collection. As you can see, we also had another alchemy table. Alchemy, huh? I know it's not as fine as the one in the house proper, but we figured it'd come in handy if you came in your back door all bloodied and needed to whip up a quick potion or two. Speaking of your back door, that's a bit private. We found a way to close the tunnel back down. We figured them old Nords didn't make one-way doors, so we hunted around a bit and found a hidden switch inside. The hidden switch behind the small waterfall coming down the wall. Yeah, the whole pull chain, I know. Still though, I felt you needed proper lock and doors, so I took some of the crumbled stone from the tunnels to make a lintel and some old pavers I had left over, and I had worked in Riften and cobbled you a proper working door. I left the key to it on top of this here note. Cheers, Gareth Greyhawk. P.S. Now that you got us down here, I'm curious what might be behind the collapsed tunnel of yours. Don't know if it would be good or bad if we dug it out. Obviously you did. Okay, your fine garden. I never thought I'd see a dragonborn planting flowers and such, but I suppose there's a day for everything. Well, it was quite a task to bust up that big old boulder in the yard. That thing was about 6 feet deep, by the way, and even bigger across. But as you can see, Gunther was able to bust up that rock with his big old warhammer. Seems like it was a darn shame to waste all that rock, so we used it as a short retaining wall to hold the dirt in for your garden. We tilled it up nice and fine and put a good layer of loam? Okay, I guess that's loam. Of loam on top so she's nice and fertile. Seeing as how we had all this damn stone, I took a bit of masonry work to make this lovely lady here to watch over your garden for you when you're out fighting beasties and such. That's where the statue came from. The fountains I added as a token of my thanks for all the work you've been giving us. Thanks for keeping an old man's hands from being idle. Cheers, Gareth. Sorry about the bench, Gareth. So me and Gunther got into this bet to see how good the Skyforged steel is. I bet him he couldn't stab into this here workbench and bet he could. And would you believe that the big dunderhead proved me wrong? That boy has to stop eating mammoth meat. Anyway, sorry about cracking your workbench like that. Though from the looks of it, the crack seems superficial. I noticed Adrian's workbench is a crack in almost the same place that doesn't seem to affect the quality of her work. So rather than let it be perfectly fine bench go to waste, we figured we'd just leave it and hang this here Nordic shield above your bench in order to make up for it. It's a priceless family heirloom of Gunther's, and he really wanted you to have it to make up for the crack. Your sharpener, of course, is right behind you, and we got rid of the old cobwebs as well. I mean, where the heck are these webs coming from? Gotta be some big spiders around here somewhere. Till next time you be calling on us. Cheers, Gareth Greyhawk. Oh, Shriner out there. Oh, that's right, I never read this. You know, when I was a younger man, I always got a kick out of finding treasures that no one else could find. Well, I'm too old to be digging around in the dirt anymore, so I figured knowing how to find hard-to-find things might come in handy for the great Dragonborn. So I went about and hit a shrine to each of the divines, all about Skyrim. A couple I even gave away to make it a wee bit harder. Anyways, back in me treasure hunting days, I had to figure out all sorts of maps and riddles in order to find all them shiny trinkets I used to sail around looking for. So in the spirit of my youth, I made up a little ditty for you to use as a guide to try and find them. To find the shrines, you must learn of the divines, whence you know the faithful of all 9. 4 of these totems will be easy to find, whilst the next 3 shrines are trickier to see. You'll find that logic and exploration is still the key. The last 2 are harder even if you are well-read, but here's a hint. You'll find 2 of these next to those who are dead. And don't bother asking me for any more hints, you shan't get any. Gareth. So we gotta figure out where all the statues are, or the shrines are. Loft upgrades, Gareth. Here we go again. Got your loft all spiffed up and all cobwebs cleared out. We added a few extra plaques for you to hang on your trusty swords and such on. Heck, maybe you can keep one of my fine steel daggers here and slay a few bandits with it, and put her on one of these. Wouldn't that be a trick, eh? Speaking of which, I'm running out of steel daggers, so I'm gonna have to switch to something else. Well, stop nailing up notes with the daggers! These bloody daggers are expensive. You know, you could figure us handymen would have nails lying around somewhere, but I'd be damned if I can ever find one when I need it. Cheers, Gareth Greyhawk. Goofball. Here's your stink rack. Here's that tannin rack you ordered. Why in God's green earth you'd want to work leather inside your house is beyond me. The smell alone of animal hides is enough to make me see last night's meat again. But what you do in your basement is none of me business. Seeing as you're going to become a fine leather worker, though, me and the boys put a few decorations as well as a couple of these here fine pelts that Gunther got the other day. Damn things were trying to eat his chickens. Anyway, he figured he'd donate the old hides to you as a way of saying thanks for keeping us all safe here in Whiterun. Oh yes, and the ale is my contribution. Might take the edge off of the smell of them pelts. Cheers, Gareth Greyhawk. Here's your enchanting table. So you're taking a stab at Farengar's trade, are ye? Good luck to ye on that. Heh, maybe your results will be a bit more consistent than those of our Jarl's fine wizard. Boy, weren't he excited when we told him he needed an enchanting table. He perked right up and started loading extra books and gems on top of everything before he sent us out the door. Kept saying, oh, and they might need this, and don't forget to give them these. Said something about how he knew you were a wizard. I think the young fellow feels a little lonely being the only mage in these parts. Oh, I'm kind of a rookie wizard. Anyway, here's all the stuff he gave us. A few gems for you to work with, and a special enchantment strongbox to store all your gems in. Farengar says all you need to do is drop your gems in here, and when you're using the table, you just need to think of the gem you need, and it'll appear in your hands. Well, that's a neat trick. Cheers, Gareth. P.S. I left you this old chest of mine that I got during my younger days when my blood ran a bit hotter. 'Twas a prize of mine for caving in the skull of a Draegr Deathlord. 'Tis a rugged old chest, and it's stored its fair share of treasure over the years. Right now it's only storing dust, so I figured it was time to pass it on to someone with younger blood. Interesting. Here's your damn smelter. Well, now, look who's getting all fancy pants on me. A smelter in your basement. Now you're just getting plain extravagant on us. I'll admit it was quite a trick to install down there. For the longest time, we were thinking we'd have to build in some kind of chimney or such contraption to get the smoke out. Would you believe that an old wizard Farengar up at Jarl's decided to help us out? We went up there to ask him about what kind of Dwemer contraptions we could use to get the smoke out, and it turns out he's been working on some weird translocation enchantment or some such, and was looking for a way to test it out. So he came down with us and enchanted your ceiling tiles with a bit of the old magicka. And as soon as the smoke touches the ceiling, it goes off to someplace high above Whiterun. Saved us all sorts of trouble. I mean, can you imagine how weird it would look trying to install some weird Dwemer pipes or noisy fan contraption on the top? Hell, you'd never get sleep at night. That's probably true. Heh. I told him he ought to do what he ought to do. I told him what he ought to do instead of translocate smoke into old Battleborn's bedroom, but he wasn't too keen on the idea. Wow. Hey, I just figured he'd like having smoke blown up his arse since he's such an old windbag himself. Oh, I nearly forgot. The top chest you see here is a very special one. Old Farengar laid a complex enchantment on it so it ties to your forge, smelter, workbench, and sharpening stone. Says that whatever you put in here will be at the ready for you to go. Will be at the ready for you when you go to craft. Ugh, tripped over that sentence. All you need to do is think of the item you need, and they appear in your hands. Tried it myself and nearly startled the skin right off me back, so I can attest to it working. Until next time, cheers, Gareth. So these are some pretty fancy boxes. I like that they're doing that. Alchemy table. Fitting to be an alchemist, are ye? I wonder if you could brew a mead with one of these things. We swung over to Arcadia's cauldron and picked up the little number for you. She was quite tickled to fill out the order. Kept asking me if I was an aspiring alchemist. I says, no ma'am. The only alchemy I perform is giving myself a touch of the mead every so often. This here is for the Dragonborn. Well, don't you know that put her in a stir, and she started darting here and there and saying you need this and the other just to go with the table. Go along with your table. She gave us so much stuff we had to go out and buy these shelves here for you to put it on. She also gave us a few potions to start you off. Seems this alchemy business is quite involved, so we also set you up with all the necessaries. The urns of the shelf are for manual storage and the organization of your ingredients. But if you want anything right handy to use whilst you're brewing up, you can put your ingredients in the satchel on the table. Arcadia says this here strong box is for your alchemy jewelry that can help you boost potency of your potions, and the chest here is to put all your fine brews in. Speaking of brews, I think you hear a touch of the old Brackmire calling. Cheers, Gareth. He sure does like his booze. For Dragonborns only, Gareth. So, was Lydia bitching about her hay mattress? Well, we fixed her room up with you just like you asked. She's a fine girl and a good fighter, even though she's a little too spirited for her own good at times. Though I dare you to find a girl more devoted to keeping your hide out of the fire. That's true. As you can see, we've added some nice furnishings for the old girl and set her up with a weapon rack and a few plaques to display the trophies she's earned while traveling with the Great Dragonborn. She's also was complaining about not having a proper place to hang up her armors when she's repairing them, so Gunther here carved up a couple of nice mannequins for her to hang them on. That boy keeps on surprising me. Big as an ox, but he can whittle ye a wooden horse the size of a scepter. But also I've noticed that you've been traveling with an odd follower here and there, so I had Gunther make up another bed for your companion to lay down in, should they need to take a load off for the night or two. Cheers, Gareth Greyhawk. Wow, he left us a lot of notes. Oh, the bath. Well, we did it. Gunther nearly snapped that ladder twice, hauling all that damn stone up here, but we had to add quite a few extra beams to support the weight, but we did it. By gory. As much as I hate to admit it, I did enjoy making that stone resemble something that old Dwemer could have carved themselves. I must say that after she was done and filled the water, you got me thinking that I might have to carve another for myself. Speaking of water, we got a bit crafty with it. Now that me and Farengar got quite the rapport, I decided to see what he thought when he might be able to do about getting the water up here without you having to lug it up with the ladder whenever you want to rinse off. Well, he mulled it over for a bit and experimented with a couple of urns he had lying about up there. He was able to cast a reverse enchantment, and he did, to toss that smoke from the smelter outside of your house. So this time he teleports the water in from the pond just outside of Whiterun. So basically those 2 urns of water will never be empty. Well, unless you somehow manage to drain the pond. Boy, weren't old Farengar tickled when he came up with that. Says he's going to try to convince the Jarl of having never-ending water pots all throughout Dragon's Reach. He's an excitable lad, that one. To heat the water, just toss a pinch or 2 of them fire salts in, and that'll get it hot and steamy in no time. If you want to smell pretty for your spouse, you can toss in some lavender or nightshade. Towels are in the urns. Oh, and you don't need to crap next to your bed anymore. There's a perfectly good crapper in here with a proper wash basin to clean yourself up in. Well, if you need anything else, you know where to find me. Cheers, Gareth Greyhawk. Thanks, bud. Bedroom furnishings, Gareth. How many more of these do we have? Greetings, Dragonborn. So here's a bedroom fit for a king. Well, not quite a king, but I'd say it's a heck of a lot better than what the steward wanted you to give you. Can you believe he wanted us to give you a bed with a hay mattress? I told him you weren't a bloody serf. He's the Thane of Whiterun. We were also able to convince a few generous nobles to give us some of their spare furniture, seeing as you helped keep them from getting their hides burned off by that old dragon. As my own way of saying thanks, I did a bit of custom work on the headboard. As you can see, it's got a nice wide mantle. That there is for your shrines to the 9. Should you also stumble upon unused or abandoned shrines in your travels, you can give them a home here. As for the safe, well, let's just say that a certain high and mighty noble in the Cloud District may have unwittingly misplaced it. So it just so happens one of my boys found it and figured if he was so careless to leave it lying around like that, he wouldn't mind giving it to someone who could find it a bit more useful. Cheers, Gareth Greyhawk. P.S. Best keep that business about the same between us two. Here's a few gold pieces to help your conscience. Wow, Gareth, damn! Okay, so we got 2 more Gareth ones. Holy shit. Now, before you get all cozy out here, know that you've already started to create a buzz among the locals about how you're starting to make their houses look shabby. Heh, I told them if they could suck down a dragon's soul, I'd build them a balcony too. That shut them up right quick. Now, I have to admit, I haven't really known quite how I was going to pull off this bit of fancy of yours, but in the end, I did some of my finest woodwork, putting this here balcony in. I know it's not much of a view, but you got better ones than any of your neighbors, and she's a fine spot to sit on the afternoon and watch the folks pass by while you sip on a nice goblet of wine. Cheers, Gareth Greyhawk. One more for Gareth, a fine heart for your fire. So what do you think, old Dragonborn? A fireplace fit for a Jarl. That there stone mural above the mantel I picked up while back when I was sailing the Sea of Ghosts. We stumbled upon this island, you see, in one of them Nord ruins. We were young and brave back then, and we figured we could take on a few Draugr without much trouble. We got through most of the barrow, no problem, but we couldn't get past the puzzle door that led in further. Tried and tried as we might to blast and chip away at the door, she wouldn't budge. I was full of piss and vinegar back then, and swore I wouldn't leave empty-handed, so I pried this here mural off the wall and made me crew carry it back to the ship. Well, 'tis only been sitting in one basement or another since then, and seeing as you're the Dragonborn and all, it seemed more fitting that you should have it. You also took the liberty of upgrading some of your furniture, seeing as how this fireplace was looking so nice and all. I also added a ledger for your guests to sign in, so you know who's coming and going. Enjoy your hearth, Dragon Slayer. You've earned it. Cheers, Gareth Greyhawk. Okay, so that's all the freaking dialogue stuff, or all the log stuff. My personal thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. You all are awesome viewers. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. It means a lot to me, and I do hope you enjoy them. So you all take care of yourselves, and if you want to see more of me, keep up another video on the list, or stay tuned for more. Feel free to leave a comment below, and please remember to tag that like button if you enjoyed the video. In the meantime, fare thee well, everyone.